What's up, guys? Chris with the Simple Man Project, simplemanproject.com, place where we're building a community of guys who believe it's okay to be a guy. We want to talk about something that affects every single man in this world. It's something that we all struggle with to one degree or another. It's the big sin. It's the big ugly in my life. It's the thing that I hate the most. And when I catch myself falling into this pattern of behavior, it just turns my guts over. I can't stand it. What is it? Passivity. My wife hinted one time that I was a passive guy, and I about lost it. I went crazy because I never, ever saw myself that way. But as I started to think about what she said to me that day and the things that she described to me, I started to realize that I had become somewhat passive in my life. I'll probably never fully admit that I really was really passive for seasons of my life because I just hate the idea of being seen as passive. I think because it makes me feel weak. None of us want to feel weak, right? So what is passivity? Passivity can take many different shapes. So when a guy becomes passive in his life, he's just abdicating responsibility. He's pushing it off on other people. He is not having the hard conversations with his kids. He's not disciplining. He's not loving. He's not putting himself out there and being vulnerable. Passivity can look like coming home from work at the end of the day and you hit the lazy boy and flip on the football game and ignore your family for the entire night. Let your wife or your kids fix dinner and plop a plate of food in front of you on the couch while you're watching the game, and you don't engage with anybody. That's passivity. Could be maybe in your career at your job. You know that you need to have a hard conversation with your boss or maybe one of your direct reports. And instead of having that hard conversation and engaging them in a way that is helpful and life-changing and life-giving, instead we choose to shrink back and do nothing. Well, why do we do that? Why is it that we fall into this pattern? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but I think the biggest one is that we feel safe in that environment. If I turn inward and I push people away and I don't let anyone in and I don't do anything that makes me vulnerable, I don't do anything that I can fail at, I have life on cruise control. It gets pretty comfortable. So behind me is my new hobby. I started riding that guy right there. It's a little bike. My daughter calls it a girl's bike because it's a Sportster 883. It's about the smallest motorcycle that Harley-Davidson makes. And I'll be honest, I've been riding that for going on 8 weeks now. And I'm just having a blast. I love it. I love it. It was really tough to get in and really get myself going on that bike because I'm a pretty safe, predictable guy. That's what I like. I like life being not necessarily on cruise control, but very predictable. Well, when you jump on a motorcycle, you go from 4 wheels to 2. Everything changes. It's very different, and it takes a little while to get your bearings. But it was well worth it. I learned a lot of lessons, not just how to ride a Harley, not just how to ride a bike, but I learned that putting myself out there a little bit, trying something new, something difficult, something unknown, actually was like breathing air into my soul. And it lifted me and gives me joy every single time I ride that thing. When I have a stressful day, man, I jump on that, I go for a ride, I come back, I'm just happy as can be. My whole life is different because I have a hobby. I have something in my life like that is a little bit risky, it's a little bit challenging, and it's a little bit scary, and I put myself out there on it. And you know what? If I do something on the street and I look a little silly, it's okay. I got a full face motorcycle helmet on, and only my neighbors know who I am. So it works out all right. You have to find ways to challenge yourself. You have to find ways to refresh your soul. So if you're feeling like you're turned inward and you're focused on just protecting yourself and not taking any chances, and you are hiding from life, you're hiding from your career, from your coworkers, you're hiding from your wife and your kids, you're hiding from your siblings, your family, maybe you're hiding from God in this season of life. Break out of that. Find a way out. What is that thing that you've always wanted to do in your life? Go and do that thing. This right here for me was something I wanted to do my whole life. And it took me a long time to get to a point where we could afford to do it as a family, where I could actually strike out and try it. It just takes a lot of courage to try that thing you've wanted to do for a long time. But don't let that stand in your way, because you take that one step, and maybe that thing you've wanted to do for a long time is repair a relationship. Maybe that thing you've wanted to do for a long time is start dating your wife again. Maybe that thing you've wanted to do for a long time is tell your son or your daughter that you love them and give them a hug. Maybe that's been a while since you've had an experience that really challenged you and pushed you. Take the plunge and go do it, because when you live your life passive, when you live your life hidden away, when you live your life turned inward, ignoring everything going on around you, you're not living, man. You are just getting through. And that is not what God intended you for. John 10:10, Jesus said that he came to give us life and give it more abundantly. So live that abundant life, but you got to take chances to do it. You got to do wacky things like starting a YouTube channel and a website, to talk to a phone, a camera, a bunch of people. You don't even know if they're going to show up, but guess what? You take a chance on something that you think is going to make a difference in people's lives. You put yourself out there and you see what happens. And you know what? Sometimes you go down swinging, but at least you gave it a run. And sometimes you hit a home run and you really make a difference in people's lives. So get out of that passive mindset. Don't allow yourself to stay there. And I got news for you. You're going to break out of it and you're going to have a great season, and then something's going to happen and a chain of events is going to occur, and you're going to find yourself one day back in that mode of being passive. But you know what you do when that happens? Jump on your motorcycle. Go for a ride. You do that thing again that sounds scary and challenging to you. And when you do that, you'll break out of that cycle of passivity again, and you're back on the road you want to be on. The unexamined life is not worth living, and it really is true. So don't be afraid to take a look in the mirror once in a while and ask yourself what it is that you're afraid of and what it is that you need to do. And right now, as I'm talking about this, everybody watching this has something in their mind. They're thinking, yep, I need to do that. That's the thing that he's talking about. Go do that. Go do that thing. Get active, take action, use the aggression, guys, that was built into who you are. Use that aggression in your favor and go do something amazing, because I got news for you. Your wife, your kids, your parents, your siblings, your coworkers, your boss, the people in your community, every single one of them is waiting for you to do something amazing so they can follow your lead, so they can follow your example. Go inspire somebody today. Hey, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, where we release a video every single week talking about things for guys.